time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning and welcome to Storytime. Thank you for joining me. Happy Thursday and welcome. Thank you. Please get comfortable and enjoy yourself, because Storytime is here and we are bringing back a wonderful book, and this one is A Friend for Henry, and it is written by JENN Bailey and illustrations by MIKA Song, and of course we are reading with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Yes, indeed. Published by Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Good morning to you and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're ready for this book. Yes, third time around here on Storytime. It is that good. Thank you so much for joining in. And as you know, we are celebrating going back to school. If you're like me, you're back in school, but also getting ready for the others as your summer is winding up, getting ready to go back to school. And just a few reminders here that all are welcome. We want to make sure that we are creating spaces that welcome every student, every family into our schools, into our communities. So thank you so much for joining in and for playing your part in making sure that this world is a better place indeed. Thank you so much for being here. Wonderful book awaits us, but I also just love to know that you're out there. Thank you so much for being here. Sarah and Nathan, I hope you're well out in Illinois. Thank you so much for joining in. Catherine Duhel in Virginia, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you as always, and I hope you've been enjoying all the stories that we've been putting out. Betty Graydon in Florida, thank you so much for always being here. Absolutely appreciate it. Following your messages through and through. Thank you so much. Rocco Clay and Chriselle out in LBC. Good morning to you and welcome to Storytime. I hope you enjoyed this one. Vincent Kapotwe all the way out in Lusaka, Zambia. Thank you for joining us. And yes, all our friends that join us from all over the world, whether you're in Denmark, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Seattle, close by, you are very welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. A Friend for Henry awaits, and we'll be getting started very shortly. Thank you so much for joining in. You know, this book has an important topic, and JENN Bailey writes it from personal experience too, you know, and so making friends is always hard. It is hard for whoever it is. And so to think too of students, kids, friends who are on the autism spectrum and how hard that may be in finding the good friend, the perfect friend. So we just want to make sure that this book, we read it here as it highlights some of those problems that may happen and also just help build understanding for what other people are going through. It's only when we understand that we can definitely be helpful. So thank you for joining in here, and I hope that you keep spreading the message, keep making these places better, keep making your school better, and look out for those friends. Say hi, find them, find friends, say hi, and just make sure that we're making everybody comfortable at our school sites. Thank you for joining me today, and I am excited to read this one again. Yes, indeed, we've already read it in the classroom as well. It is a favorite, so thank you so much for joining me on Storytime, and welcome. All right, we're going to be getting started with our story today, A Friend for Henry, written by JENN Bailey, illustrations by MIKA Song, and published and and of course read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Please find it where you find books, and of course find it at your local library and your school library. Good morning to you and welcome. Let us get started. A friend for Henry. All right. A Friend for Henry by Jen Bailey, illustrated by MIKA Song. And of course, read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. In classroom 6, second left down the hall, Henry was looking for a friend. Was Henry going to find a friend? It couldn't be Jilly, who circled her fishbowl. She's quiet, thought Henry, but she can't play on the swings. No, she can't. It couldn't be Mrs. Magoon, who knew about hugs. She shares, thought Henry, but she has to. Could it be someone else in classroom 6? What do you think? In art class, Vivian shared Henry's double easel. Vivian was a kaleidoscope, a tangle of colors. She had ribbons and clackety shoes. She knew every Pawnee song. Her fingernails were painted like rainbows. When I get paint on my fingers, Henry said, I wash it off. Vivian waved her hands too close to Henry's face. My mommy painted them. Aren't they pretty? Painting on people is against the rules, said Henry. Did your mommy get in trouble? No. Henry lowered his voice. Did you get angry? Why should I? But Vivian was very angry later. It ruined them. She likes rainbows, Henry explained. And he thought a friend would say thank you. Oh. Reading time was Henry's favorite. My friend will like it too. It was Henry's turn to put out the carpet squares. He tacked the blue ones next to the brown ones. Green in the very middle. All the edges met and the corners fit perfectly. Reading time, shouted Samuel. My favorite. Samuel was a thunderstorm, booming and crashing. He was kind of scary if you didn't have your blanket. He could pick up crayons with his toes and do proper somersaults. Whoa. Henry stepped in front of Samuel. Somersaults are hard. Samuel dodged past. I want a green one, he said. Oh, Samuel. Wait, Henry's thought felt tight. They are perfect. Mine's a magic carpet from a genie's lamp, said Samuel. It's not. Henry's face was hot. It's from Ragworld. There is the sticker. Up and away, magic carpet. Booming and crashing, Henry's fingers closed. A friend listens. Oh. Henry, Mrs. Magoon knelt in front of him. Sit with me, please. Henry did, but he couldn't see the pictures, and his carpet square was brown. Aww. During snack time, Jaden took 3 crackers instead of 2. At recess, Riley dug up worms and let them use the swings. Aww. At free time, Henry's hope for a friend felt small. He watched the sunlight play along Jilly's scales. He could watch Jilly for a long time. Katie watched too. Katie smelled like strawberry milk. She read storybooks all by herself. She slid down the big slide, sometimes backwards. The big slide is too big, said Henry. No. Jilly floated past. She's shimmery, said Katie. But she doesn't blink, said Henry. What does she do? She burps pebbles, She burps pebbles, Henry thought, and breathes underwater and turns sunlight into colors. Henry hushed into his sweatshirt and said instead, fish things. Katie bent to have a closer look. I like her. Henry tried not to blink. Want to play blocks? Sure. Oh. I don't like triangles, said Henry. I don't like broccoli, said Katie. Together they built a tower. It had rectangles, cylinders, and squares, but no triangles or broccoli. It's perfect, said Henry. Thank you, said Katie. The next day, they played on the swings, and Katie went down the big slide. Henry waited at the bottom for his friend. Oh. The end. No. Thank you for joining me on Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed that one. Henry, A Friend for Henry, written by Jen Bailey and illustrations by MIKA Song. And of course, read with permission and published by Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been Storytime. I am so proud and so lucky to get to be here with you all the time and enjoy these wonderful stories. I hope that you and your loved ones are doing well and everyone else in your community is doing just as well. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. It is nice and sunny out here in Oakland. It has been hot the last few days, but enjoying it. It's good to be back at school. Yes, and seeing all the kids and just getting to enjoy too all the time together. And just a reminder as well, please be careful out there. Continue following the health guidelines. Do what is needed so that we can stay healthy. You and your loved ones can stay healthy. Thank you so much for joining me on Storytime. So glad to be here, and I hope you are well. Please do comment, leave me comments, leave me messages. I will definitely get back to them and check in, see who else was been joining in Storytime or was indeed has been watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I try to join in too as well, even though we're live and I get a little break at work. I try to get in and see so we can enjoy it together. Thank you so much for being here, everybody out there. Baby Bia out in Seattle, thank you for joining in. JJ out in Seattle as well, thank you as always for joining in. Good morning to each and every one of you. Have a lovely, lovely day today, and I hope that story time kicks it off well. And of course, if it is the afternoon, I hope you get to enjoy it nonetheless. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Please do give a hug to somebody. Remember to check in on all your loved ones. Thank you so much for being here. Much love from me, and I will see you again tomorrow when we are back for what I call the ultimate book of the pandemic. And this one is There Is a Rainbow. Beautiful book. I'm sure you remember it. Beautiful illustrations by Grant Snyder. And of course, wonderful story written by Teresa Trinder. Love her work. Love this book. It is definitely one for your library collection. Do join me tomorrow for this one. There is a rainbow. Yes, indeed. With all that's happening, we know there's a rainbow out there, and we will keep an eye out for it. Keep supporting each other. We will get through together. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. As always, I appreciate you so, so much, and I wish you nothing but the very best. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada. come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't